Boker Tov, good morning. We continue with our 3-minute daily dose of Torah. And we begun our studies related to Chametz and Matzah as we start to prepare for Pesach. Yesterday we referenced the fact that verse 16 in chapter 12, Yud Bet Tet Vav, around the Mitzvah of Matzah. And specifically, the Torah says, Shivat Yamim Matzot Tochelu, 7 days you'll eat matzah. And that seems to relate specifically to the fact that we can't eat chametz, and we understand this verse ultimately to mean that it's simply your carb of choice. If we look a little further, I referenced it yesterday, but I didn't quote the pasuk. It's in pasuk Yud Chet in verse 18, where we have the mitzvah to eat matzah, and that is on the first night. Barishon ba'arba asar yom lachodesh ba'erev tochel matzot, on the first of the holiday, the 14th at night, which is actually the 15th. You should eat matzos, and they continue to do so if you wish until the end. Now, the second part that we began talking about yesterday also was the prohibition against eating chametz. That is in place for all 7 days, and the Torah relates to it the mitzvah of tashbitu, of destroying the chametz. And the destruction of chametz relates to the fact that we don't want you to eat it. So you have to destroy the leavening, the seor, so that you don't eat chametz. And that is pushed forward as well and developed further in verse 19. Shivat yamim seor lo yimatzeh bevatechem. For 7 days you should not, no leavening should be found in your homes. Ki kol ochel machmetzet. Because whoever eats anything which will cause fermentation, machmetzet. Once more reiterated the punishment of karet. The third time over, the Torah says this. Anything which causes fermentation in bread, lo tochel, you may not eat. And instead, in all of your habitations, you shall eat matzot. That means the Torah is pretty serious about this. You know it's serious about it because it keeps on repeating it. You know it's serious about it because twice it reiterates the punishment of karet. And so ultimately what emerges from these verses is not only is there a prohibition against eating chametz, which is the core prohibition, but there's a prohibition against having it in your possession in any way, shape, or form. We ultimately refer to this as the obligation of Baal Yira'eh or Baal Yimatzeh. Another verse speaks about you shouldn't see it. So you shouldn't see it, and you should not be found in your possession. And ultimately we do is we have to destroy it. So an affirmative act of destruction of the chametz, and this kind of lays out for us the things that we do regarding chametz, which is our primary obligation is to get rid of it. And we'll talk further about that tomorrow.